Ladies and gentlemen, I bid you welcome to the 5th day of games here in the GGvision Liquid Colosseum with me, Sebastian Coburg, your host, and our pro gamer gladiator of this week, Liquid HayprO. Here spawning as the red Zerg in the upper right, starting position off Shakura's plateau. His opponent and challenger in the arena on this day is KnowMe, a German Protoss player listed on Wikipedia as a notable one. However, there is very little information otherwise about him. However, on this day he is ranked as the 181st on the European Grandmaster League, and that says a lot, ladies and gentlemen. So this may not be a world-known famous pro gamer, but he is indeed a very fearsome Protoss from Germany, and he will be able to put on a lot of hurt of HayprO, I am sure. However, this initial pylon placement by KnowMe here below his ramp is at the very least unorthodox. We do see this from time to time. It's usually used in order to secure a wall in here on the lower choke, the lower ramp, and hence it will be able to protect your expansion, your fast expansion immediately, rather than securing your defense up here on the ramp. However, that is risky because it will require a lot more buildings, a lot more investment, and a lot more time than putting a defensive posture up here, up the ramp. And this may allow HayprO Zerglings, if you choose to attack with early Zerglings, and we do 6 of them being produced right now, to get in. So Forge Fast Expand, we'll just have to see if that will work. Here we do see KnowMe scouting HayprO, and you will see 3 eggs that undoubtedly contain Zerglings. And now he's asking, is it you, Hater? Yes, why? You're way better than me, says KnowMe. Well, I guess we'll just have to see, because these games in this week of the GGvision Liquid Colosseum has been chosen exclusively by the Team Liquid Pro staff to be casted by GGvision.tv to showcase HayprO's skills at Starcraft 2. This is an artificial selection of games. It's not chronological or from any tournament, but based entirely on how epic they are, and so far we have not been disappointed. 6 Zerglings now on the way to KnowMe's base, and I don't think that KnowMe's wall-in will be completed. No, not at all. Ladies and gentlemen, there is only one photon cannon here, and it's not even finished. KnowMe tried to place a pylon, but he failed, and these Zerglings will now be able to get inside his base. This is disastrous, and this is exactly why you don't want to wall in below your ramp like that. Especially not with that kind of SimCity where the buildings actually do not block effectively. Now we see HayprO microing his Zerglings, but so far KnowMe is microing back and doing quite well. HayprO has not been able to inflict any casualties yet. He's of course disrupting mining time, but has yet to kill any probes. And I must say, KnowMe is doing good micro. This is harder than it looks indeed. HayprO is a very accomplished Zerg player, and indeed Zergling microer, but KnowMe is holding his own so far, and HayprO, we can see, is not reinforcing the Zergling aggression. He's got 2 contingency Zerglings hanging out here, but other than that, he is sticking to his economy game back in his base, losing 1 Zergling and so far taking out no probes, no workers killed. And this, I must say, is quite remarkable. KnowMe is doing well in defending this. So far so good, considering the disastrous wall-in attempt. Killing 1 probe now, but losing another Zergling in the process. So KnowMe is doing well in his micromanagement, but his building placement skills may be a bit of work. Meanwhile, we see HayprO taking his natural expansion, knowing that he can safely do so. KnowMe will not be able to retaliate anytime soon. However, as you can see on the picture-in-picture screen, something interesting is indeed happening over there in HayprO's base at his natural expansion. Meanwhile, these Zerglings will not be able to put on too much more hurt, I'm quite sure. But meanwhile, we do see HayprO has started to build gas, or rather build an extractor. And here we do see a pylon just now completing for KnowMe, and he will cannon rush HayprO in turn. Hell, when your economy and game plan is in shatters, why not go all the way and be completely crazy about it? Special tactics works for some Protoss players, so why not try it? 3 cannons warping in, the entirety almost of HayprO's drone army is now attacking, as well as Zerglings. 1 Zealot in the fray, the probe is still alive, building more cannons, and these will go down, or at least forced to be cancelled. This one actually seems like KnowMe will allow it to get up. Yes, we'll be able to shoot a handful of shots at the very least. 2 more cannons building, and a third one just planted. We'll just have to see if this can cause any major damage, but these drones combined with Zerglings should be able to take most of them down, I think. But at the very least, this puts a hamper on HayprO's economy. He's losing a few units and he's losing tons of mining time. At the same time, KnowMe is investing a lot of resources that will hardly injure HayprO in a serious way, only delay him, but he's continuing to do so. And still, when you're so much behind as KnowMe is, after having that kind of Zergling harassment in your base, you have to do something crazy. It seems, however, that the threat is averted for now, and the probe actually manages to plant one more cannon, and there's still a zealot up here disrupting. So one more cannon being planted and a second pylon as well. But now the queen will be able to almost killing the queen. That would have been a major victory indeed, but no dice. This aggression is now averted, and interestingly, we see that KnowMe is indeed not perhaps the best architect in Starcraft 2, having placed his gateway in a way that prohibits his nexus from being planted where it should be. Now he has to destroy his first gateway in order to plant that. Less than amazing, we must admit, but so far an unorthodox game indeed, and I'm sure that it will continue that way. We'll just have to see what happens next. HayprO now going for Zergling speed. Looking at the economy tab, we see that actually KnowMe so far has been ahead in harvesters. He has continued to build them, continued to chrono boost them out, and HayprO is actually slightly behind in the mineral intake. So now getting ahead in harvester count. The Zerg player, of course, with Larva Inject slightly later in the game can do that, but in the beginning the Protoss player has the prerogative of chrono boosting out more harvesters early. Now going for a Roach Warren here at his natural expansion, and now KnowMe is able to plant his Nexus and building a very wide wall in here. I'm not sure I like this, because this kind of concave with 2 cannons here way in the back will allow HayprO's troops to get up here, and they can truly mass here and get a full concave of their own and able to shoot these units. So this could prove quite detrimental, but we'll just have to see. Now chrono boosting out attack weapons level 1 and warp gate upgrade as well. HayprO taking a bit of map control with Zerglings here at the Selnaga Tower. Meanwhile, droning up like crazy. 7 roaches on the way, and double gas mining down here. Now we see Zerglings moving out, and surely we'll have a timing push coming from HayprO shortly with a bunch of roaches. But KnowMe might be able to hold it if he reinforces this wall in. We'll just have to see, but I would advise him to start building sentries and placing them behind here so that he could force field away the HayprO units and not allowing them to get this beautiful concave, because these sellers that are now moving out, less than advisable, will be like lambs to the slaughter here. HayprO's units will be able to take them down with minimal losses, and this is yet another major blow to KnowMe's battle plan. 3 zealots that could have proved a great difference, and also they could have been sentries instead, which could actually have been useful. Now we see what I was talking about happening. All the roaches and Zerglings will be able to get up, and they managed to get 1 sentry. These rally points are all wrong. You must place them behind. This is quite disastrous, ladies and gentlemen. Building a bunch more cannons, but there are only 2 of them up now, and those are the only things that can defend right now HayprO's aggression. The roaches are all up in his business, and we see HayprO building a bunch of Zerglings. Now he wants to stomp this German Protoss player who wanted to cannon rush him. HayprO is out for blood, and he aims to take it. The first force wheel going down, actually creating quite a nice choke for the moment, shutting the roaches out, but this must be quite painful indeed. This is what I'm talking about. Should have had sentries behind here a long time ago. Now roaches are inside. The force field held them back for precious seconds, but it was not enough. Cannons, they can't do anything, they're only up here. Too little too late for KnowMe. But still, I guess it's not over yet. Now, however, HayprO is swarming the Protoss base. Zerglings all up, tearing down the warp gates before they've had the chance to do much good. He's warping in cells here at the ramp, that is good, but he should keep them there in hold position to prevent the Zerglings from getting in. The buildings are falling, the probes are trying to escape, but they can't, they're locked in. There's only 1 cannon left standing, and HayprO is continuing to funnel units in. More cannons are building, but that is it. However, HayprO is lacking in his macro skills, having 1800 minerals and 600 gas right now. It seems like he is expecting to win right off, but so far KnowMe is still holding his own. Seems like he's actually better at fighting on the back foot when he's under attack. He has good micro, I must say that, and still he has not allowed these units to actually penetrate the heart of his base. More cannons are now warping in, and the Zerglings are falling. Zealots making quick work of them up there, actually. The Roaches will be able to snipe this Nexus shortly, most probably. But still, HayprO has not reinforced this army. He's now going for lair, and what do I see? I see 2 macro hatches in his base. Seems like he's actually intent on continuing this game, now producing 11 drones, realizing that he was a bit sloppy, and actually that KnowMe held this siege. Maybe that was HayprO's lack of focus in this battle, or it was just KnowMe's defensive skills. He seems to be very good at that. Now sniping the Nexus, and HayprO is in the base again, and this time he's got very many Zerglings, and they will be able to quickly kill probes. It seems like KnowMe is out for the count. Meanwhile, HayprO is taking an expansion at the 3 o'clock and sniping this building, Cybernetics Core. However, KnowMe is doing what he can with what he has, placing these zealots very nicely, and HayprO is not microing as good in turn, probably macroing up all those money, but actually KnowMe again managing to hold for the moment, sniping one warping zealot, and now the probes managing to actually take down quite a few Zerglings. Again, I am impressed by KnowMe's defensive skills, how he's able to defend with probes and zealots, and as we can see, HayprO's aggression is now stopped for the moment, rebuilding the Nexus. Workers killed 27 for HayprO, so looking very good, getting an expansion down here, as well as, well, 2 macro hatches. Spire on the way. Seems like Mutalisks will be the final stomping measure here in this game, but still KnowMe is doing good considering, trying to get his base back here, building photon cannons, and surely he wants to complete the wall in once again, but he actually has lost pylons. HayprO taking a 4th base and 3rd expansion and immediately saturating his fresh expansion. Here we see now 68 harvesters to 24. HayprO realized that he perhaps was a bit sloppy earlier and didn't follow up with an economy or the right unit composition during his attack, and now he's trying to compensate for that by simply building 24 drones. As you can see, ladies and gentlemen, HayprO knows that when you're ahead, you need to get more ahead, and even if you forgot it for a moment, he now aim to make amends for that. But 4 zealots, slow zealots, are walking in, and they should be able to put on quite a bit of hurt here on these lonely drones. Looking at the units tab, HayprO has no attacking units, only 3 queens and, well, 88 drones to the 30 probes off KnowMe. So these zealots can actually create a lot of hurt, but I see 12 Mutalisks on the way, so it should be good. Flyer attacks as well building, and I like this wall in with the macro hatches that will actually funnel the zealots down here, and now the Mutalisk will make quick work, and I can't really see KnowMe getting back inside this game, but still 88 drones and 3 macro hatches in the expansion, and 2 unsuccessful early attacks. An unconventional game at the very least, but now we see Mutalisks out, and I must admit that KnowMe can't do very much about it, but he will at the very least try. 2 Stargates going up, and hey, who knows, maybe he will be able to get out enough Phoenix. If so, Phoenix will slaughter Mutalisks, but I do believe that Liquid HayprO has got this, and that he will finish this game in a spectacular manner. Guardian Shield going up, but there's very little. 2 sentries, 1 photon cannon can't do very much against what is a ginormous mass of Mutalisks, and more on the way. HayprO's economy is of course soaring, looking to get that 92 harvesters to 33. Wow. And the units lost tab speaks its very clear language. Killing this Nexus, meanwhile, KnowMe is trying to fortify, building cannons and everything, but well, a spectacular ending to what was definitely an unorthodox game, sort of a quicker and unusual one. I mean, if you watched yesterday's or the day before that, you know that Liquid HayprO has performed old school brutal style doom drops, as well as defended against battle cruiser rushes, and there we have a GG from KnowMe. as he said, HayprO was better than him, and so he tried to get a leg up on him by being unorthodox, and I must applaud that. But hope you liked this cast, unusual as it was, and now stay tuned for the final and concluding 6th day in the GGvision Liquid Colosseum. And I can promise you, this game will be entirely different, with an entirely different opponent. You will see Happy face Liquid HayprO on Shattered Temple. So stay tuned for that. GG and out.
Adjutant online. Registered.